Hello everyone. Today I'll be discussing about dopamine, another isopressor. So what are its actions? It acts on beta 1, alpha 1 and D1 receptors. It is a catecholamine which is derived from tyrosine. So it is an endogenous catecholamine. It has as we all know, it has dose dependent action. Okay, at very low doses, that is 0.5 to 3 mics per kg per minute. It acts predominantly on the D1 receptors. Okay, so which is present, D1 receptors are present in renal, mesenteric and coronary vasculature. Okay, so next is at 3 to 10 microgram per kg per minute. It acts mainly on the beta 1 receptors. It leads to increased release of norepinephrine from the sympathetic nerve terminals and also increases the SBP and also increases the heart rate. It can also lead to increase in myocardial contractility. Okay, and next doses, its action on DBP is very minimal or is not affected. Okay, mainly it increases the systolic blood pressure and also increases the heart rate. Next is doses of more than 10 mics per kg per minute. It has action on the alpha 1 receptors, so it causes generalized peripheral vasoconstriction. So the dosing should be titrated according to the action, physiological action that we require. Okay, but actually this theory is outdated now, but still practically it's outdated, but theoretically these are the explanation given, that is the dose dependent action. So now let's discuss about the side effects of the drug. One is it causes tachycardia and also it can lead to tachyarrhythmia. So avoid in a patient, critical patient who already has tachycardia secondary to hypotension and sepsis. Usually it's a reflex mechanism. So any patient having heart rate of more than 120, 130 or 140, this can further worsen the tachycardia, so try to avoid this. And one more is it causes myocardial ischemia via beta 1 receptor action. One more is it at high doses it leads to decreased splanchnic perfusion, okay, due to alpha 1 action, that is vasoconstriction. So so it will lead to gut ischemia. It can lead to bowel gangrene also, so avoid giving in higher doses. Then it decreases the ventilatory response to hypoxemia. Why? Because this has catecholamine, as I said before, because of role as a neurotransmitter in the carotid bodies. This is one thing you need to remember. And also it leads to alterations in the endocrine and immune functions. It leads to decreased secretion of growth hormone, TSH and prolactin. So these are the side effects that must be remembered. In a critical care patient, try to avoid this drug in case of tachycardia. It can precipitate tachyarrhythmias, and avoid using higher doses because it can lead to gut ischemia. In a ventilated patients, diagnosing this is very challenging, right? So try to avoid this in these conditions. Next, the next step is dose. What is the dose calculation? One ampule of dopamine contains 5 ml, that is 200 mg. So one ampule we mix with 45 ml NS to make it to so it becomes 2 lakh mics in 50 cc that we take. So next is 1 ml contains 400 microgram. The rate of infusion will be 3 mics per kg per minute to 20 microgram per kg per minute. This is one thing you need to remember. The starting dose is for as a vasopressor I'm talking about. So the starting date will be 3 mics up to 20 mics we can give infusion. So in a patient who is 50 kg, as we discussed in the last one, so we will let's start with 10 microgram per kg per minute. So 10 mics in a 50 kg patient, time calculated by 4000, which is present in 1 ml of the syringe. So it comes up to be 7.5 ml per hour. So when you want to start infusion at 10 mics, you have to start single dilution at 7 ml per hour. So minimum dose is 3 microgram per kg per minute, right? It comes up to be 2.25 ml per hour for the dilution that I have taken here, and 20 mics per kg per minute comes up to be 15 ml per hour. So in a 50 kg patient, if you want to start any drug with single dilution, you can start directly with 2.25 ml per hour and titrate up to a maximum of 15 ml per hour. So next discuss about another inotrope. Actually it is not a vasopressor, it's an inotrope, that is dobutamine. As we all know, it is a synthetic catecholamine. It has predominant beta 1 action and very minimal beta 2 action. Okay, so what are the actions of dobutamine? Mainly it is an inotrope, so increases cardiac output by increasing myocardial contractility, okay, via beta 1 receptor. It also reduces the systemic vascular resistance by direct vasodilatory action, and also reflects decrease in the sympathetic vascular tone, okay. So it does not increase the blood pressure per se, it actually per se causes direct vasodilatation and decrease reflex in sympathetic vascular tone. That's why I said it is an inotrope. Mainly acts on the increases the cardiac contractility, and one more is it increases the heart rate via beta 1 action. So now let's know about the indications, which is very important because it is a lone inotrope, not a vasopressor. So what is the indication? Chronic low output cardiac failure, okay. The three words are very important. I'll tell you why in while discussing about the adverse effect. Just remember, it only indication is in a chronic low output cardiac failure patient, okay. So what are the side effects of this? Increase in the myocardial contractility via beta 1 action, so it leads to increase in myocardial oxygen demand, so it can induce ischemia or further worsen the ischemia in acute settings, right. Increased myocardial contractility requires increased oxygen, so demand supply mismatch occurs. Already patient has hypotension, so demand supply mismatch occurs, so it can induce or even further worsen the ischemia in case of acute settings. That's why I said it should be a chronic and low output state, so we increase the cardiac output there. So avoid in acute settings, okay. Acute LV dysfunction with coronary artery disease. In acute MI, it causes increased infarct size, okay. So this drug has to be avoided in any case which has acute LV dysfunction secondary to coronary artery disease. It should be increased only, it should be used only in case of low cardiac output cardiac failure. So one important note is never use dobutamine as a lone inotrope, okay. We should never use dobutamine as an inotropic agent when SBP is less than 70 millimeters of mercury, okay. It can actually produce tachycardia and arrhythmias. So whenever SBP is less than 70, even if the patient has a low output cardiac failure, you always have to prefer another inotrope like dopamine or norepinephrine rather than dobutamine. Once the SBP improves to more than 70, then you can add this drug as an add-on to increase the cardiac output and increase the perfusion to peripheries, okay. This is very important and should be remembered. When SBP is less than 70, never think of starting dobutamine as the initial inotrope of choice, okay. So what is the dose? It starts from 5 to 20 microgram per kg per minute, okay. So 1 ampule contains 5 ml, that is 250 mg. So 1 ampule dilute in 45 ml of NS, it becomes 50 ml. So 1 ml contains 5000 microgram. This thing you have to remember, okay. When you take single dilution, 1 ml of dobutamine contains 5000 microgram, whereas 1 ml of dopamine contains 4000 microgram. These calculations, if you remember, easily you can titrate how much you want to start on based on the patient body weight, okay. So when we calculate for the infusion with minimum, that is 5 in a patient